Okay, I got a question last week that I want to answer on today's episode because I think a lot of you guys might be stuck on this exact same thing. Here's really the nuts and bolts of it. ConvertKit versus Flodesk versus MailChimp. How do I choose? I love this question because it means that somebody is actually ready to start their email list. Hallelujah. But I also know this question can turn into 3 weeks of tab hopping between pricing pages and watching comparison videos on YouTube and never really actually getting to the point where you send a single email. Okay, so today is going to be short and sweet and to the point. I'm going to give you what I believe are the main 3 questions that can actually help you when you're picking a platform. We're going to walk through the top 3 options, plain and simple, and then I'm going to tell you about the one mistake that costs people real money when they wait too long to decide. So let's go. All right, here's the down and dirty, okay? There are like 30 email platforms out there, probably more, I don't know. And every single one of them will tell you that they're the best, and that is not helpful. What is helpful is narrowing it down to what actually matters for you right now where you're at today, okay? So I want you to skip the feature list for a second and ask yourself these 3 questions. First one, do I care more about design or do I care more about actual selling? Like some platforms are built by designers for people like me who want their emails to look like a brand experience. Okay. Other platforms are built for strictly marketers who care more about conversion paths, tagging, automation, logic. Neither is wrong, but you need to know which one you are because that is going to steer you one way or the other. Okay. Next question. How big is my list right now? How fast do I think it's going to grow? This matters because pricing on every platform scales with subscriber count. If you're starting from 0, you have more flexibility than you think. If you're migrating from somewhere with an existing list that might be pretty large, that changes your starting costs. So that matters, all right? And then the next question, am I going to use this for one-time newsletters or do I need automation sequences like welcome sequences and nurture sequences and sales sequences? If all you need is to write an email and hit send periodically, you need way less platform than you think. And you could probably get away with something on the free level. If you need somebody to land on your list and automatically get walked through a 5 or 10 email sequence, if all you need is to write an email periodically and hit send, you need way less platform than you think and can probably get away with like a free level. If you need somebody to land on your list and automatically get walked through a 5 to 10 email sequence over the course of a few weeks, I've heard of people setting them up for a few months. That is a different tool requirement entirely, okay? So you're going to need to write down those 3 answers. Because everything I say next, you're going to filter through those 3 questions and the answers that you wrote down, not through. All right. I want you to write down those answers because everything I say next, you're going to filter through the question and answers that you just gave. Not through which platform has the prettiest Instagram ads. Okay. So I'm going to give you what I hope is going to be an unbiased comparison. I'm going to try to be unbiased. I definitely have a favorite because I use it, but we're going to try to be unbiased. All right. So let's talk about the 3 platforms that I'm going to discuss today. Like I said, there's many, many more, but I'm just going to kind of hit the top ones. All right. The first one is ConvertKit. It's now called Kit, but you may have heard it either way. This one is built for creators who actually care more about the automation and selling side. Okay. So courses, digital products, that kind of thing. The visual automation builder is really excellent if you want to map out your subscriber journey. The trade-off is that the email design tools are more basic. So if your brand is part of your value proposition, if how things look is part of why people trust you, like me as a brand strategist and web designer, it matters. Kit can feel a little plain unless you're comfortable with some workaround design, okay? Flodesk. That's the next one I want to talk about. Now, full transparency here. This is the platform that I use, and I'm actually a Flodesk partner. And so you should know that going in, but I'm still going to try to give it to you straight because that's what, that's what's going to be most useful to you. So Flodesk is design first. If you want your emails to look like a custom brand experience without having to hire a designer, this is where Flodesk wins hands down. The flat rate pricing is also a real advantage. All right. So Flodesk is design first. If you want your emails to look like a custom brand experience without having to hire a designer, this is where Flodesk is going to win hands down. All right. Now, where it historically has been weaker is in some of the more advanced automation logic and reporting depth that platforms like Kit or MailChimp offer. However, I can tell you as a Flodesk partner, they are really ramping up in those areas. So where they haven't caught up yet, I think they will. Now, if you need really granular behavioral triggers, like if they click this link but didn't click that one, branch them to a different path, that is not going to be Flodesk. Okay. It's not the Flodesk's strongest area, at least not yet. So I'll come back to some of the at least not yet moments in a minute because there's something behind the scenes that I want to tell you about, okay? So next I want to talk about MailChimp. Now, this is a platform that has been around forever, right? When I was a communications director over a decade ago, we used MailChimp. I think they still use MailChimp. This is the platform that most people have heard of because it really has been around the longest. And a lot of people start here just because the name is familiar. It has the most robust feature set on paper, broad integrations, e-commerce tools, advanced segmentation, although I will say Flodesk segmentation is pretty good as well. The trade-off is the interface can feel cluttered and a little corporate, and the pricing can climb pretty fast once your list starts really taking off and growing, especially with some of the legacy plan structures. It's not a bad platform. It just is not usually the most intuitive one if you're not kind of naturally techie. So here's kind of the plain version, okay? Kit is yours. So here's kind of the bare bones version, okay? Kit is the one you want to look at if automation and selling sequences are your top priority and design is secondary, all right? Flodesk is the one you want to look at if your brand and visual experience matter to you and you want a platform that is still growing and will possibly grow into where, Kit is in the future. And then MailChimp, if you want the most feature dense option and you don't mind kind of a steeper learning curve. Kit is more intuitive than MailChimp for sure. None of these are wrong choices, like I said before. They're just built for different priorities, which is exactly why I had you answer those 3 questions first. All right. Now here's where it gets a little unbiased because I want to talk to you about Flodesk and why what I'm watching. All right. So here's where this episode is going to get a little unbiased because as a Flodesk partner, I have access to see things that are not out to the public yet. And so I really do think that it's actually relevant to the automation gap that I mentioned above. Okay, so here's where the episode might get a little unbiased because like I said before, Flodesk is the platform that I choose to use. And as a partner with Flodesk, I get to see a lot of the things that they're working on behind the scenes and even beta test a lot of them before they're launched to the general public while they're still kind of working out some of the bugs. So I kind of have insider knowledge, so to speak. And I think that's why this is actually relevant to that automation gap that I mentioned before. So I'm currently beta testing a new integration between Flodesk and Claude. That's an AI tool if you're not familiar with it. I use Claude already, so it worked really great. And I'm actually right now, like this is just like super practical. One of the things that I'm using it for is I am having Claude, not me, I'm not running it. I'm having Claude run a 6-month analysis of all of the emails that I have sent out in the last 6 months, telling me what's working and what's not working. And then the places that are working, we can double down on, and the places that are not working, we can start to fix. Okay. It's been super enlightening as I'm seeing the results come back and asking more questions. And then getting ready. And then last week, I was on a webinar with the Flodesk team where they walked through what is coming. It's something called Flodesk Studio. I cannot give you all the details since it's not public yet, but I will say, if what I saw holds up, and I'm hoping that they're going to open beta testing for partners hopefully any day. I should be getting the email. If what I saw holds up, it takes Flodesk from, a solid 10 to generally Now, I can't give you all the details on it since it's not public yet, and I have not personally gotten to play around with it, but I will say that if what I saw holds up, it legitimately takes Flodesk from what I think is like a solid 10 as a platform to, it just skyrockets it, right? I'm not even going to put it on a scale. But it could genuinely change the way that I work, and the design gap and the automation gap that I mentioned a few seconds ago, I think it's going to close the gap really fast. All right. I'm not telling you this to try to sell you on Flodesk specifically. Well, kind of, if you're looking for something that's design forward. Yes, I am. But what I'm really telling you is that I'm not telling you this to sell you on Flodesk specifically unless you have a design forward brand. And then in that case, I'm absolutely telling you that you should pick Flodesk. But I'm telling you because email platform landscape, it moves all the time. And the platform that's weakest at X, fill in the blank today, might not be 6 months from now, which is actually a perfect segue into the mistake that I want to warn you about. All right. The mistake can actually cost you money. So people wait to choose a platform because they're worried they're going to pick wrong. And I want you to hear what I'm trying to tell you. Every week that you spend on comparison shopping instead of collecting subscribers is a week that you are not building the one asset that actually can make you money without posting one single thing on social media. Your email list is the thing that's working for you while you're at the grocery store, while you're at church, while you're asleep. A platform you actually use beats a perfect platform that you're still researching every single time, hands down. Here's the financial reality that goes along with that, right? Most of these platforms let you migrate your list later if you truly outgrow them. So what they can't do is retroactively give you back the subscribers that you didn't collect because you spent 6 weeks deciding between two genuinely fine options. The cost isn't picking the wrong platform. The cost is picking no platform. All right. So here's what I want you to do. And it's simple. Step 1, pick your platform based on those 3 questions from earlier. If you feel like you're on a platform right now that's not working for you, take a look at these 3 and see if one of them is a better option. Okay. And then step 2, go create a free account this week, not this month, like this week. Today is even better. And that's it. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't have to have a perfect template or your welcome sequence already written out. All right. You just need your account, and you need to get your first form or your first email live. All right. If you decide that you want to explore Flodesk, I do have a discount code for you. You can go to my website, jantouchberry.com/email, jantouchberry.com/email, And that is going to give you a link to jantouchberry.com/email, and that's going to give you a link to a free trial. So here's the thing. Friend, I talk to so many women who have incredible offers, incredible expertise, and zero email list that's working for her because she got stuck right here at this exact decision. Don't let this be the thing that holds your business back for another 6 months, 6 weeks, or even 6 days. Pick one, create the account, and build from there. Okay? See you next week.